Welcome to the Business Spotlight series. My name is Steve Chiama, and I'm the host of the Business Spotlight podcast today. And today I have the pleasure to introduce Rick Lee, the founder and CEO of Healthrageous LLC, as my guest. And today we're going to talk about Rick's business, his journey into business ownership, challenges, best practices, and share a peek into what it's really like to build, own, and operate a business. If this is your first time on the channel, be sure to like and subscribe to get notifications when a new show like this one drops. So, Rick, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. And if you would, please give us a little bit about background about who you are and a little bit about your business.
Thank you, Steve. So I am a serial entrepreneur. As many people will say, there's no such thing because once you've done it once, you'll never do it again. But I'm crazy enough to have done it 9 times, either co-founder or founder or founding team. They've all been in the healthcare service business line, which means we serve the payers, the employers, the health plans, the Medicaid plans, the Medicare plans, all the different parties that are paying for medical care and health care, which is now a $4.2 trillion industry and the largest business sector in the United States economy. I got into this in a very strange and curious way. There was serendipity involved, but basically I was trained as a special ed teacher, and I got a job working in a psychiatric hospital where I ultimately decided to start a program for students who couldn't really succeed in the public school environment. They were too hyperactive, they were too disruptive, they were mentally ill, a variety of reasons why they were not situated for being placed in a public school environment with hundreds of public school students. So these were secondary students that we set up a school for. There were a maximum of 16 students at the psych hospital, and there was a little building where we ran our 2-room classrooms with 2 teachers, 1 in each classroom. And I did that for about 4 years and decided that teaching was not really going to meet my needs, that I needed to enter business. And in observing the psychiatric hospital administrator who ran the hospital, I saw an example of somebody that I wanted to emulate. However, what I learned subsequently was he was a pretty rare bird as hospital administrators go. So I entered the graduate program at the University of Washington in Seattle, 2-year program. And as soon as I arrived, I realized that I was a fish out of water and I didn't really relate to my classmates. But I found a professor who understood why I could succeed there in spite of the fact that I wasn't going to become a hospital administrator. And he took me under his wing, and I got a position in this a congressman's office that summer after the first year of the program. And that congressman turned out to be Ronald Reagan's OMB director, and he put me on a fast track into health policy as opposed to hospital administration. And for that, I'm ever grateful. I went on to work for the National Business Group on Health, which is a large 501c3 organized around health policy for large employers. Got to know a whole bunch of large employers, developed a niche specialty in psychiatric managed care, and that led me to be recruited to one of the first specialty managed care companies in America back in 1985, and that was called Preferred Healthcare. I was there 3 years and then recruited to join the founding team of Value Health. And Value Health is really where I had my greatest run. I was head of sales and marketing, And in 3.5 years, we went from zero to a 1.5 billion IPO on Wall Street. So it was a great success. It struck me that it was pretty easy and fun, and I've never been able to replicate that success. So
Yeah.
I have realized that it's not as easy as it seemed back when I was a youngster. Uh, Suffice to say, I went in D.C. working for the congressman. I met my soon-to-be wife and came back to D.C. because of her, and we got married, and we've been married for 45 years. So it's been a wonderful relationship and has helped me immensely in focusing on a day job, a career in entrepreneurial healthcare. I also was one of the first creators of a disease management company in 1996. I chose cancer. That was a really challenging effort, but successful in the end. In the mid 2000s, I was recruited to run the largest employee assistance program in America, working for Magellan. And it was really the only time that I was in a company that had revenue over $100 million. And that was a $2 billion company. And just the whole activities of running HR and having to do employee reviews and having reports up to my bosses, and it was not for me. I need to be at the top of the pyramid, and the pyramid needs to be really small with a flat organization. Everybody knows how to make coffee. Everybody knows how to take out the trash, and everybody knows how to write a press release. So that's basically been my CV as a selling CEO. I'm very, very successful in the sales environment. And I think that many early stage companies need to have a selling CEO. They can't have a finance CEO because that person is not likely to be able to raise capital. You got to be able to tell a story and to have a meaningful emotional investment in the outcome of that story. And going back to college and after college, I've been in musical theater for my entire adult life, performing on stage. And so I know how to carry a tune. I know how to surprise people with that. I had a customer called American Express once upon a time, and they had all their account managers come to New York City for the annual introduction of new services. We were a new service the following January, so they were going to learn about our managed psychiatric program. And I entered from the back of the room wearing a three-piece suit and a straw hat, and I sang the opening number of Trouble in River City from Meredith Willson's The Music Man. So I'm capable of shocking people with that kind of exposure, and believe me, they'd never forget you when you're crazy enough to show up singing a song.
So you've decided that if you're going to be in business and you're going to be in sales, you better plan on helping your potential client or client have fun.
Yeah, I think knowing how to perform is imperative to being a good salesperson. As I indicated earlier, it's telling a story, and the story that we tell now in our current program, Healthrageous, we're serving seniors in Medicare and Medicaid, and we pick on one person, Jane. She's 75. She has multiple chronic diseases. She takes 6 or 8 different medications, sees 4 or 5 different doctors, and she's socially isolated. Her children, she has 3 children. They live in different time zones. She has 7 grandchildren. They live with their parents. And so she's living there alone and more or less crippled. And all of a sudden, the audience that I'm telling that to is envisioning their mother, their grandmother, and I'll even ask them if they have somebody of that age, 75 or so, who's outlived a spouse. And sure enough, they always volunteer that. And then I use that name of that beloved grandmother to tell that story. So it becomes very personal to them and very effective in moving the ball down the field for us.
Fantastic. I want to backpedal just for a bit. I think you've got some more to tell in that particular part of the story, but I want to backpedal because there was another piece of this that I want to collect for the audience. How are you structured in this business? And with your background, um, are you structured in a way that you're the solo owner? Do you have business partners? Do you have investors? What is the support structure under this?
So historically, I've raised capital. I've raised more than $50 million outside
Hmm.
of that IPO that was 1.5 billion. I don't get credit for raising that money,
Mm-hmm.
but 50 million plus from
Mm-hmm.
early stage venture investors,
Mm-hmm.
venture capital investors. Uh, this one is the exception. So in this case, I went to angel investors. There are 19 of them. I raised $2.8 million from those 19 angel investors. And I don't have a board. I don't have snotty-nosed, smart aleck, 30-year-old MBA telling me how to run my business. I have everything that I want. I have a dedicated team. For the most part, this is a team that has worked with me previously, or they
Mm-hmm.
know somebody who turned them on to me.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of trust in our team. We all entered into employment agreements with a handshake. There's no HR in our in our company,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't shy away from using four-letter words in in mixed company, and I don't say
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry or I apologize for my French. It's just a really fun group. There are 14 of us, and we meet every Friday. And
Good.
it's a Zoom company. We're
Mm-hmm.
all virtual. I have somebody in Bellingham, Washington, Orlando,
Mm-hmm.
Florida, Birmingham, Alabama, Austin, Texas,
Mm-hmm.
Connecticut, Pennsylvania,
Mm-hmm.
Lexington, Kentucky. So it's really a vast array of talented people that you can't find if you have to have them all in your home office.
I want to go back to the venture capital. Awful lot of business owners have this vision that they can't grow or they can't scale up their company unless they have this free money. Um, what's your insights in venture capital and having capital, borrowing capital? What insights can you share from your experiences?
So I've always been very tepid about raising too much money. It's
Hmm.
it's a I think it's a recipe for disaster because
Hmm.
the more you give away of your company in order to get millions of dollars, uh, that's just become swag that you take to conferences and hand out coffee cups and T-shirts.
Hmm.
It doesn't really advance the ball.
Hmm.
If you want to get customers, you don't go to conferences and stand in an 8 by 10 booth. What you
Hmm.
do is you go where the person is that you want to meet, and you
Hmm.
take them out to dinner, and you try to build a relationship. It's a it's what Adam and Eve decided when they fell in love with each other, and it's
Hmm.
going on to this day.
Hmm.
Relationships matter, and
Hmm.
the more you're successful at building and making a relationship, the more successful you'll be in business.
Good, 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 good. I want to go back to your customers. Who's your customer really? I don't think your customer is really Jane.
No,
If I'm,
yeah,
your customer is a little bit bigger than that.
that's correct. Yeah, Jane is the end user of our
Hmm.
services. We have to make her happy. If we
Hmm.
make her happy, she'll be singing the praises of the health plan.
Hmm.
We are white labeled, so Jane
Hmm.
doesn't know us as Healthrageous. She goes to our website called Made Easy Meals,
Hmm.
and that's where she orders her meals.
Hmm.
And if she's using our loneliness solution, that's called Hello Made Easy. But
Hmm.
each of those are a good reflection on our client, which is,
Hmm.
for the most part, it's a Medicare Advantage plan. Medicare
Hmm.
Advantage has 34 million seniors under contract
Hmm.
in maybe 4,500 or 5,000 different plans around the country.
Hmm.
And Medicare Advantage is rapidly growing. It has now exceeded the number of seniors who are in fee-for-service Medicare, which means
Hmm.
the government's providing it, and there is no health plan that's in the middle between the recipient of the services and the payer of the services.
Okay. Why did you choose to go into this particular business in the beginning? Why this one?
Uh, it's it's all about um, sniffing out opportunity.
Mm.
So there are arbitrage opportunities that are created almost every day in
Hmm.
government, and they're created in order to solve problems identified by government bureaucrats and executives. In this case, CMS, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, created a program in 2020 called the Special Supplemental Benefit for the Chronically Ill,
Hmm.
SSBCI. And SSBCI went live in 2020 with 19 health plans. Today, there are more than 4,000 health plans participating
Wow.
in SSBCI. How do you get into it? Your health plan has to be into it. So
Hmm.
they submit a bid to CMS to get approval to do it.
Hmm. Hmm.
The programs that are available are transportation, meals, food, groceries, uh, pest pest eradication for fleas, and if you have a pet dog or cat, fleas might be likely, and they'll obviously impair your COPD or your
Hmm.
asthma. So that they have handrails for people that need to get up and down the stairs and don't have a handrail. There are
Hmm.
trip hazards like scatter rugs that can lead to a broken hip, and we
Hmm.
want to avoid those. So there are a whole bunch of supplemental benefits providers out there, and we chose the meal program, which became the fastest growing supplemental benefit in 2022.
Oh, okay. Are
It
there
struck
many?
us that the players that were going after the meal program didn't really get it. And what they needed to understand, which I understand implicitly, I'm 75, so I'm a senior, and
Mm.
I know what friction is when
Mm.
it's the government, whether
Oh.
it's your Social Security or your Medicare vendor, you name it. Friction sucks. And this is what a lot of the young entrepreneurs don't really understand. They want to create an app for us seniors, and the data that we saw was that 57% of seniors have never downloaded an app for their own health care.
Hmm.
Now, I'm sure it's improved since that data was first generated in 2020 or 2021, but that was our idea. Let's make a friction-free solution
Hmm.
that doesn't tie up seniors in knots and red tape and frustration and anxiety and all that stuff. So you can get onto our platform through SMS text, and you can hit a link there. That'll take you right to our website, Made Easy Meals. You can then pick from a bundle. You can pick the chef's pick, which is 14 meals that we've decided are good for you. Or you can go and make your own bundle and have four vegetarian lasagnas as part of your 14 meal selection. So all that flexibility, personalization, allowing people to operate in our program without a lot of friction, we deem to be imperative. It was more important than how tasty are the meals, because these people that we're serving are oftentimes eating cat food as their main course. So if we give them something that's nutritionally balanced and good for them, high fiber, high protein, and portion controlled, and it's not ultra processed, it's like they won the lottery, and it's free. It's free for them, and they can get that 168 meals a year from us. So what's not to like about that?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Um, what makes you unique with respect to competitors in that same field?
I think the recognition that friction is a handicap.
Yeah.
Most of our competitors are enrolling 2 to 3% of the targeted population. We enroll 15%. That's
Wow.
5x better. And why is it? One reason is because the health plans don't want people to enroll. They want to offer a benefit that doesn't get used. And
More money in
that,
that.
yeah. So that's a problem that's inherent to the entire industry,
Hmm.
as well as all supplemental benefit vendors. But I think there are some smart health plan executives who recognize that the people that are the sickest they're not going to leave your plan because they're too sick to go through the rigmarole of
Right.
investigating other options.
Right.
So they're going to stick with your plan and run up a bill like you wouldn't believe unless you get in there and try to mitigate that increase in expenses and increase in chronicity. So by virtue of specializing on these folks, we know for a fact that if we eradicate or minimize loneliness,
Hmm.
we're going to save $2,000 per person, according to a study that AARP did about 5 years ago.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So $2,000 is a lot of money.
It
Now,
is.
if you can adjust the risk assignment of the individual by identifying additional concerns that have perhaps not been addressed by the primary care doctors,
Hmm.
then you can increase the per member per month payment for that individual. And if it goes up from 1,800 to 2,000 to 2,400, you've just put $600 in the pocket of the health plan for every month's medical care. So there's a logic to specializing in those that most health plans are running from and not wanting to engage, enroll,
Hmm.
and sign up.
Got it. Got it. Got it. When you look ahead into the future, what does the future look like for the business? Looking out 5 years, 10 years, maybe more. What does the business look like? Where's it going?
I think it's all about pivoting, and what we're most proud of is the experience that we've created, the friction-free experience, that easy to use, really high operational excellence. If we say we're going to deliver it in 3 days or less, you can pretty much take that to the bank. 98%
Hmm.
of our meal deliveries are in 3 business days or fewer. If we say the meals are really tasty, you're going to verify that.
Hmm.
If we say we're going to help you with improved hydration, you're going to like that, and you're going to recognize that, yeah, you do get more water every time we nudge you to drink more water, and that's
Hmm.
good for you. And we'll help you with your sleep, and we'll help you with uh, your sodium intake so that your diabetes will improve. So there are a variety of things that we're doing currently that are going to become second nature to managing seniors as we go forward. And we'll just pivot to a new arbitrage opportunity where, um, there are too many broken hips, or there's
Yeah.
too many people committing suicide, there are too many people that are getting fraudulently abused by
Yeah.
Russian, crooks
Yes.
sitting in tanks somewhere in Russia, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Taking advantage of seniors and really victimizing them.
Each of the things you've mentioned improves the well-being, their health and well-being of the seniors, which, yeah, should reduce the medical expense of that same person over
Yeah.
time. Yeah. So I like that. That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Now,
What?
just a corollary to that, and that is that um, we in America are a little bit spoiled by the belief that healthcare equals health insurance. We know
Yes.
that flood insurance does not equal flooding. And
Yeah.
if we get flood insurance, there's a 1 in a million chances that we're going to need it.
Yeah.
If we get health care insurance, we believe that allows us to write off the cost of aspirin and things like that. And we say, well, I'll only get it if my insurance covers it. This is your life, not your insurer's life.
Yeah.
And
Right.
there needs to be a greater focus on self-care and understanding how your body works, and not rushing to the doctor or the ER at the first sign of concern, because
Hmm.
maybe you should investigate through Google and find out if Dr. Google thinks that you have a hiatal hernia versus a stomach ache.
Details.
So we salute self-care, and we preach it, and we make sure that people understand you have to be active, you have to get good sleep, try to go to bed the same time every night, drink a lot, 8-ounce glasses of water, be
Yep.
socially active, and then the whole nutrition angle with low sodium and high fiber and high protein.
Fantastic. As you look ahead, what do you see as the main challenges?
There are challenges that I'll call them exogenous variables.
Hmm.
Exogenous means it's out of my control,
Hmm.
a nice Greek word. And COVID was an exogenous
Mm.
event that impacted my company greatly.
Yeah, I'll
We
bet. Yeah.
survived, but we barely survived.
Hmm.
And the next year, it wasn't COVID, it was the Inflation Reduction Act and getting rid of the donut hole that President Biden was intent on doing, to do seniors a favor by saying, when you hit $2,000 out of pocket, that's the end of your out of pocket payments for drugs. Until then, there was a donut hole, and on 2001, you were 100% responsible for that $1 and the next 1,500 after that $1 until 3,500, at which point 100% was covered by the government. So in filling the donut hole, which was great for seniors, it was punishing for my company, because all that money that health plans had to put into filling the donut hole was taken away from supplemental benefits.
Had to come from
So
somewhere.
Yeah. So these exogenous events can occur routinely.
Hmm.
If we go to war with Venezuela and they attack us, no telling what will happen to
Hmm.
healthcare in America.
Hmm.
I'm not concerned about it, but that would be an exogenous event.
Right.
The
Right.
stock market crash in 2008, I was at Magellan running the EAP at that time, and that was an exogenous event
Yes.
that
Right.
greatly impacted our company.
Yep. Yes. That all makes sense. Cool. Kind of go back to the personal side of it a little bit. If you started this kind of a business up again, knowing what you know now, is there anything you would do different?
Uh, I think that the one lesson that I have an advisor that was on one of my boards back in 2009, and he's a very close friend, a dear friend, and has guided me. I gave him some founder stock to participate in this company, and he's been my Yoda, whispering in
Good.
my ear, you
Hmm.
should do this, you shouldn't do that. And his big bugaboo, he's been a venture capitalist for 40 years,
Hmm.
is that entrepreneurs always hire the sales force prematurely.
Mm.
And that's kind of related to me saying startups, early stage CEO should be a selling CEO, should have
Hmm.
selling skills and a selling personality. So they both go hand in hand with if you hire a sales force prematurely, you may rue that day. And we built a sales force, a marketing engine. We hired an actuary to help us on deciding what were the prospects that we really had to go after.
Hmm.
We ran think tanks and flew people in for wining and dining in special sessions where there were only 15 of them,
Hmm.
and they were selected so there were no competitors in the same event. And all that probably costs somewhere between a half million and $1 million.
Hmm.
And the outcome, bupkis. we did
Yeah.
we did land a client, a blue client, that subsequently announced that they were shutting down the plan and
Mm.
selling it to a bigger blue plan.
Hmm.
So we ended up with no new clients
Yeah.
and somewhere between a half million and $1 million of expenses that
Yeah.
really impeded our growth.
Yeah, I think your insight about sales CEO at the beginning is a very, very good one. Um, it's so easy for a CEO to get lost in the delivery process of the product or the service, but not pay attention to, is there really demand? Is there a customer base out there, and where are they, and what are their expectations? What is it they're really looking for? Um, Building the perfect product without an understanding of what that customer base thinks is a perfect product that can be two different things. Um,
It can. Now, we landed our first client after 2 months of selling.
mhm,
So that's an extraordinary uh, compression of time.
mhm,
We found the right customer. That's
mhm,
that's basically what happened.
mhm,
Finding the next customer has been a laborious challenge for us.
mhm.
Now, that first customer ended up being worth $8 million this year alone.
Oh, that's good.
So you get a small footprint and then you expand and
Mhm,
expand until it's a meaningful customer. But it
mhm,
also means you have concentrated revenue. And
mhm.
if you lose that customer, you could be up, you know what creek.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, so that's the underlying issue that you have to be wary of
Okay.
in this hunt. It's elephant hunting is essentially, and if you can find the right elephant, and word of mouth is a really powerful way to do that, then you're golden.
You probably need about 10 elephants in order to have feel secure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Good, good, good. This has been awesome. You've shared some really good insights, and I think there's a lot of value in what you've said so far. Let's start wrapping up with a few rapid fire questions and see if we can have a little bit of fun with some of these ideas.
Okay.
If there is one key to success for you, what would that be?
Having a supportive spouse.
Hmm, that's a good one. I like that. Cool. If you and I were having coffee in the coffee shop and a business owner walked in or a business startup person walked in talking about what they were doing, what's one piece of advice you would share?
Don't get over your skis and try to sell them in that one brief moment.
Yeah,
Develop a relationship. You can't sell in one visit, but you can develop a relationship that leads to two, three, four visits. And
yeah.
ultimately, that's what you should be seeking is just to be remembered so that when you call a week from now, they'll pick up the phone.
People buy from their friends, people they know, like, and trust.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good. What's a book you're reading now or have read recently that's had impact on how you run the business?
Uh, I I read a whole lot about um, reengineering, reengineering business. Michael Champy was a prolific author on that topic. So there was a time earlier in my career, like late 30s, early 40s, where I was reading a business book a week and
Hmm.
just uh, having all that stuff seep through my pores and trying to understand the secrets of selling. I also looked at videos, and they're a little more amateurish, where some guy's trying to teach salesperson how to sell, and
Yeah.
I didn't find them to be particularly helpful. But reading business books and pondering them on long business flights, that I think is very productive.
There's an awful lot of really good content out there. Yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
You've you've had a great journey. What are you
Yeah,
most
I
proud
have.
of? Yeah, what are you most proud of in this journey?
I'm most proud of the fact that I have few enemies, that
Mm,
um, I've never tried to win business by diminishing the perception of the other party that I'm
good.
competing against. So that's been a lot of fun to succeed
Ethics
at.
in business.
Yeah,
No reason not to be respectful.
yeah,
Just because they're doing something similar, there's room for everybody
yeah, yeah.
in one way or another.
And
That's good.
and I've had fun developing friendships with those competitors as well.
Hmm. 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 Very doable. Yes. Following up from that and kind of to flip the question around, if you had a magic wand and you could fix one thing this afternoon in your business, what would it be?
I guess I'm at the point where uh, we've we've had a good run on angel capital, but now we're ready for a meaningful infusion of capital. So three, $4, $5 million. If I had a magic wand and could receive that in the next 60 days, I'd be a happy man.
Cool, cool. Any insights on, do you want to share on how you would use it?
I would use it with putting up that sales force that I put up prematurely and then had to strike down. This is this is the right time now to invest in sales and marketing.
Good, 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 good. All right, most important question. How can people who want to know more connect with you?
I'm on LinkedIn, and you can connect with Rick at healthrageous.com.
Fantastic, fantastic. And last question. What's most inspiring to you today?
I think I'm inspired by people who are embracing a love thy neighbor approach to life. There's the coarseness in the conversation is just really upsetting, and it's degrading our culture. It's degrading our being human. It's giving a really bad example for children to emulate. And we just need to love thy neighbor as thyself and show compassion for those who are struggling as opposed to kicking them and keeping them down.
Isn't that the truth? Awesome. Now that is awesome. That you're right in so many ways. So many ways. That's fantastic. Rick, this has been really a fantastic conversation, and you've shared some really good insights that I think business owners could get some really good value from if they listen to it and apply it in their business. So thank you for sharing your insights so much. I encourage everyone watching to save the show, come back, watch it again. Rick has given us some great insights and from a different angle, some of these from a different perspective than some of the other interviews I've done. So don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you can get some notifications every time a conversation like this drops. Thank you to everyone who has watched us today, and a special thank to Rick for being vulnerable and sharing all of his insights. I appreciate it.
Thank you.